Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is Thursday, and this is Two Guys Tech, and I left that up. Good for me. I am Rich, and to my left is my special guest today, Aaron, who is not actually new to the show. Aaron has been here before. This is his second appearance. You wonder where John is? John is taking some much-needed R&R. He's going to see some awesome comedy show or something like that. And Aaron has been so gracious to step in his stead.
Hey, was waiting for this. I'm excited.
I am too. Fun. Absolutely. As always, we've got a chat. There's the chat. Please, please, please consider talking to us. We would love to talk back to you. And yeah, I guess... wait, so I should ask before we get into it. How you been?
Good. It's been a while since I've been here, but we had the build on your channel, and
that's right.
That computer's working out great for me, and it's just nice to be back on the show. So
that's right. We built a computer. We built Aaron's computer here in the studio.
Yes, we did.
We did a video on. Actually, we did two videos. I think we did a case video.
Yeah, we did the case,
and then we did the actual building your video. So
we liked the case so much when we opened it up that you had to do a video on the case.
It was such a nice case. Huh? You still like it?
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. Okay, well, let's get to it. We're going to start, and I think I am first. By the way, this is episode 127. I didn't mention that, did I?
You did not.
Yes, 127.
It's a lot of episodes.
It is a lot of episodes. Well, a little trade secret. We started at 100.
All right, that works.
I looked it up. People start at 100. That's your first thing. So
fair enough.
So it is the 27th episode, so there's that. Hello, Susan. Okay, so let's talk video games first off. It's a good topic to start with, right? Yeah. And I'm going to talk about Epic Games and Psyonix. Epic Games, as you may know or may not know, is the game maker of Fortnite.
Yeah.
Big popular game with the kids.
Yeah.
Unreal Tournament, which is a big popular game with older kids like us.
The old guys.
The old guys.
Sure.
And Psyonix makes the game Rocket League. I think that is their only game.
I don't think they make anything else, nothing else popular.
Right. Psyonix Rocket League is a huge hit. It is a game that they have like esports leagues based on it, right? It's not a joke. It's a big deal in the realm of
and it's had
esports.
Staying power. It's been around for a while.
And the whole game is, long story short, you play a little RC car and you're knocking a ball around. Reminds me of Quake Pong back in the day. But I digress.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, except you had guns. Good times.
Guns, cars.
The same thing. All right, so why this is something we're talking about is because Epic and Steam, the big game platform, distribution platform, have been in a bit of a brawl because Epic started their own Epic Game Store, and they offered everyone who uses the Unreal Engine, which is their property, their game engine, free use of the game or of the engine as long as it was in the Steam store. And then if you moved it on to another platform after a certain period of time, you have to pay licensing fees per copy sold, all that stuff. Right. Rocket League is only on the PC side available in Steam for now, right? And there's a ton. I mean, Rocket League started on PC, and that's where it flourished on. A lot of people, including myself. I think do you own Rocket League?
It's on PS4 now, right?
Yeah, it's on the consoles too, for sure.
I do not have Rocket League.
Really?
I've actually never played it.
All right, I'm not gonna lie, it's a fun game. I'm terrible at it.
I know, that's why I haven't played it, because I know I'd be bad.
It's not for
honestly.
It's not for people with slow reaction times.
Which is not.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't play games that require quick reaction times generally as much as I used to.
Exactly. Yeah, we're not. We've been shown that we don't do well.
Twitch goes away.
Yeah, fast Twitch stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Epic has been in this battle with Steam over what they claim is overpriced royalties on the Steam platform, which is their justification for fighting back. And I think it's mostly, they're trying to take a chunk out of the market, and now they have a big property that you can expect eventually will go. Now, they've promised right now not to take that property out of Steam, that they're focused on guaranteeing their existing customers their games. Basically.
I mean, they kind of have to do that, right? With a game this big, they need to focus on the customer support side and make sure that the transition is smooth. Because you could really blow this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, think about you and I were talking pre-show about how people who play the game, they connect with each other via Steam, right? They send their invitations and all that stuff. It's not inside the game, it's via the platform itself. And all that would have to be rewritten, and you need to get everybody onto the new platform.
Right. So. And we also talked about kind of the logistics of that. You want to try and make things as smooth as possible. Will they really block it on Steam?
I bet I'm willing to bet you I'm not going to bet any money, but I'm willing to bet you a friendly bet that yes, eventually, unless they can bury the hatchet and come up with some sort of like agreement,
Right.
they will take it off the platform. Because
Well,
why else would you buy the game?
I mean, let's be real with Epic and them having the Unreal Engine and doing what they're doing by, like you said, offering basically to
Yeah, free use of the game engine, right?
they're the only ones that can really compete with Steam at this point. Like
Right.
now, as is.
Right.
So
Well, I mean, yes, you're right. I mean, you've got people like Ubisoft, who's got their own.
Right.
God, every single game maker has their own distribution platform.
but they don't have this option.
Right.
Hey Steven, how's it going?
So yeah, so I guess that you're right because realistically, the Unreal Engine, just like the Unity engine, these are game engines for video games, are available for people to use to make their games. They're platforms to build upon and make their little games, right?
Right.
But you look at you like EA and you look at Ubisoft and those places, they don't offer their game engines out,
Right.
right? That's their property that they use to build their stuff, and they keep that on their own.
Right.
But also, well, EA doesn't, but I think that for a while you could get your Ubisoft games via Steam. I think I bought like
Yeah, I think you could too.
Division from Steam technically, but it was delivered via the Uplay client. But
Right.
anyway, so some big changes coming. I think it's gonna heat up, and
It'll be interesting to see where the Steam Epic,
Epic
thing
battle
kind of
goes.
the
Epic scheme,
the Epic
Steam
battle royale
rap battle
goes exactly. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that for sure.
Absolutely. So, Aaron, tell me about the internet weapons.
So, Putin signed a Russian internet bill, internet isolation bill into law. So basically, what this is going to do is the law will tighten government control in Russia over the internet, which is already kind of tight. Yeah. So it's going to require ISPs in Russia to unplug from foreign servers. Now that's not some small
No, it's
gesture.
not. Yeah, I mean, think about
whatsoever.
the companies like Amazon and Microsoft who have put in data centers and infrastructure there to offer their services. I wonder what they're thinking right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's not something we even discussed, but I wonder what that is going to entail for all those companies and how it will affect kind of this bill in general in Russia. It also calls for the creation of their own national DNS system to protect in the event they're disconnected from the global internet.
Right. So DNS, for people who don't know, DNS is a domain naming service that takes the names like google.com and turns it into an IP address and then magically allows you to connect to things. And in the world, DNS is an entire architecture that's controlled by like a non-governmental entity. It's like it's a body of it's an organization that is tasked with being independent. It's for the betterment of the internet because everybody needs it. It's a requirement. And so obviously Russia believes that the Americans still have access and control over, which is not true. But
I mean, at this point, it seems like this is all counterbalanced to obviously a lot of this stuff is coming out about Russian, cyber warfare, hacking the election in 2016. All of this stuff factors into this. They are getting a lot of backlash, and a lot of countries they need to protect themselves essentially to make sure that
that the people that they were meddling with don't finally wise up and take them off, right?
Right. That's exactly it. So it specifically was in response to U.S. cyber strategy.
Right.
So
welcome to the Cold War, huh, Aaron?
Yeah, I mean this is the new Cold War.
It is.
It's
the cyber Cold War.
I mean, at least we're not worrying about nukes as much.
Just worried about it. What's worse, the threat of no internet or the threat of nuclear annihilation? Depends on your generation, I think.
If you talked to my wife, she would tell you, for me, it's the threat of no internet.
Yes, I mean,
if I'm using my phone and then it just stops all of a sudden.
No Path of Exiles.
No, I put 1,000 hours. I mean, the reality though is that Russian internet isn't already not free, right?
Right. Yeah.
They're already blocking websites. They already limit the use of a virtual private network.
Right.
And they have designated media outlets that receive foreign funding as foreign agents.
Yeah.
So they're already heavily regulated by the government. They're already, I think Russia in general is already kind of a state that they don't get a lot of real information. but this just furthers that.
Yeah, it's like an official
just
stamp. It's like
proliferates that.
we everyone who lives there is like, oh, we know that this is happening, but now it's like, kunk, there's the official stamp.
Right.
You
yeah,
just,
I know
it's
they're
law
not
now.
even transparent about this at this point. This is just straight up.
Right. Like
This
here
is
it
what
is.
we're doing.
We're doing this thing.
And we talked a little bit about this before too. This kind of speaks to some of the stuff that's happening in the United States with net neutrality and things. Those are steps that you have to be careful of.
Right.
In the long term, and it's why people are kind of up in arms about that kind of stuff, because it's important that we keep that stuff free
Right.
and
Totally.
unregulated.
Yes.
Because it is far too manipulatable. It is far too big of a source of information.
Right.
To have that information be
I think that certain
controlled.
parts of the, like certain entities believe that access to the internet is considered a human right. Because access to it is not, it's not like, oh, I can't play Candy Crush, my world is ended. It's like, because of all the available information, right? Like, not having access to it actually puts you at a massive disadvantage to people who do.
Think about how many things are available online, or only available online at this point. I mean, everything is moving to where you book online, you do this, you order online.
Right.
Everything is just moving that way. That's just the future, and it's why we have to protect that, because if you don't,
In a world where I get to order my groceries online and then
Right.
go pick them up.
right?
I
They
can't
not
go
even
back to
pick
the
them
store.
up. They deliver
I know
directly
they
to
do.
you.
Yeah, I haven't done that part. But
I was just at my mother's house the other day, and she said Walmart will deliver directly.
yeah.
No extra charge.
Wow.
Yeah. I was amazed.
And you're like, oh, let me get on the internet.
Why have I not been doing this?
Well, I need some internet, yeah.
I would like to still sit in my underwear and play computer games
Yes.
while getting my
but
groceries delivered.
I'm moving on because it's a total different tangent, right? All right, so moving on. Aaron, do you know who Qualcomm is?
Why don't you explain this to me?
All right, okay. So Qualcomm is like one of these incredibly important companies in the cellular technologies market, right?
Okay.
One of these names that you may not notice unless you flip over the back of your cell phone and might see a little sticker that says...
Yeah, I've definitely heard of Qualcomm.
Right. So Qualcomm makes, I mean, they make a lot of stuff, but primarily in this case, they make cell radios, right? They call them cellular chipsets. They're radios that allow you to have your phone be a cell phone, right?
Okay.
Send data, make phone calls, all that kind of stuff. Well, remember last show we talked about how Apple and Qualcomm had buried the hatchet, and Apple had agreed to pay up, basically.
Right.
And we now know how much Apple's agreed to pay in royalty fees to Qualcomm.
Okay.
And that number is just a modest number of $4.5 billion, or up to $4.7 billion. I'm not sure why there's like this thing, but and that's a ton of
Maybe
money.
they're still trying to figure out exactly.
It could be. And all of this, a little bit of backstory. So, Apple had a fight with Qualcomm about royalty payments for each phone that was sent out.
Right.
And they're like, okay, well, we're gonna do the countersuit stuff, and we have tons of money, so we're just gonna fight forever.
They threw money at lawyers.
Exactly.
And tried to.
In the
work it out.
meantime, Apple went to Intel, because Intel's working on a mobile chipset, and said, we want to buy your mobile chipset solution. And Intel just recently said, we're not going to make a mobile chipset solution. And so Apple went, no.
So Intel kind of pulled the rug out from under them.
Yeah, and so that's what predicated them actually becoming, like, burying that hatchet and ending that lawsuit.
So essentially they had no choice.
Yeah, exactly. But, this does mean that I think now we can expect to see 5G telephones from Apple probably in the fall. iPhones and iPads, basically anything with a 5G radio from Apple.
Right.
We'll probably start seeing that now in the fall, which before, who knew?
And that's why they had to pony up this money.
Yeah, exactly.
It was either you do this and get the technology and be able to keep up,
right,
or they just don't have any other option.
Right,
Intel took away their other option.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're hedging their bets, and it failed. So it's it's kind of fascinating, but yeah, I mean, Apple is never the first to market. Like, they're never going to have the first 5G phone. Actually, Samsung has the first 5G phone, I think, because Samsung's always first to market, always, right?
Because Samsung's money.
He's the Samsung user. He likes exploding phones, and he likes.
I'd like to be surprised.
You
by
like
my phone,
you like
whether
phones
it's
that when you open it and you peel off the thing, it actually peels the display off. I get it. I know. I mean, not bagging on Samsung, because the foldable phone is actually a pretty cool idea. I would hope that to get that worked out. But
We'll see, but at least Apple's back on track, right?
so then I can hope to see
you
a
don't
5G
have to
phone.
worry about your 5G.
I will
iPhone.
get my 5G phone eventually. Then so yeah. So
I wasn't really worried about it. That's why I didn't have to even care.
you're
about
like,
this.
what is this?
Samsung's fine.
Yeah.
They pay their bills.
They pay. Okay, moving
All
on.
right.
Let's move
This
on.
one
Oh
is- I
gosh,
think this is
yes,
the funnest
yes,
topic we've got.
yes. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, I'm warm up for
All
this
right,
one.
you
So,
hit it.
you probably a lot of you have seen this. There is a live action Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Coming
And
in November.
it's coming, and Rich and I can't figure out why. Because
Why it's we can't figure out why it's live action, not why they can't.
I can't figure out why they made it at all. Maybe he can't figure out why it's live action.
We're old enough that Sonic came out when we were kids, right? So it's like a nostalgic property. I can
It
see
is.
them.
It is a ton of nostalgia for Sonic, and there is a lot of history there.
Right.
So
But-
it's an abomination.
Should we just show people the trailer?
Let's show the trailer.
All right.
I think that's our best
All right,
look
so
here.
we're not
and we'll
gonna
talk
we're
about
not gonna
it.
play any audio because
No.
I'll get a copyright.
But
strike.
again, here's the so stereotypical.
James Marsden.
He's the cop that clocked him.
Look at that electric hair.
Do radars even go up to 760 miles
No,
an
of
hour?
course
I gotta think they don't.
That one does because it's meant to clock Sonic
right,
Hedgehogs.
right.
So yeah, we're getting to this point where
Oh, look at all the shoes he's burned through.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
it's so cheesy.
he's an anthropomorphic, humanized, like I don't know, 8-year-old sized person,
Right. So
with
so
a giant head.
we kind of talked about this. Did they do motion capture with a kid? Is that why they did it this way?
Know.
I don't know.
And Jim Carrey
Here we go.
as
This is
Doctor, which Aaron thought was a good call.
I do think it's a good call because it's the only thing that might potentially save this movie is if you have a name like Jim Carrey on it, because at least everybody knows Jim Carrey's gonna be ridiculous.
Yes, but it's so bad.
I wish that there you guys would watch this and see the audio because it is even worse with audio.
Yes. Well, I'll
It
put a
really
link down.
is.
I'll put a link down.
Yeah, you
for
should
to
link
watch
it because
it's
because this as they just go through, it just gets worse and worse. And we were talking about. So he doesn't look anything like
It's
the Dr.
November.
Robotnik from the game. He
Right.
was like this really round, circular, crazy-looking guy.
He's
And
got,
he has
like,
teeth.
teeth and hands and like very human, like
Yeah, no, his fingers are weird.
yeah. I just
It's like just a creepy look.
this is
They
this-
did promise to change his look because there's so much backlash.
They got to re-render that entire thing. Like quick.
That you dude, you talk about crunch time for artists and
Yeah.
developers. Oh my god, they're losing their minds right now. Just going, we just wanted to shovel this out.
The whole they don't even care.
We just wanted to be done with
Because
this.
Sonic the Hedgehog was all about Dr. Robotnik, who was basically taking all the happy furry
Oh,
creatures.
here he goes, throws a ring and a
Yeah, and
portal
apparently he's got
appears.
Portal, which has nothing
I
to
know.
do with the
So
Sonic.
Sonic
universe.
has magic.
Yes, and
I guess. Wait, you could jump through the big ring at the end of a level and portal somewhere,
yes, but
but it wasn't something you put.
I
up.
don't know. It was just at the end when you beat Dr. Robotnik.
Right.
But this is just it's so, and you know what I just want to say, I totally blame. Oh, there was a bit in the end there. Sorry, it's not worth watching anyway. I blame Dr. Pikachu Detective because they obviously like
Dr. Pikachu, detective
what is it?
scientist.
What is it?
It's Detective Pikachu, I believe. Is
Hi
what
Cheryl,
it's called.
thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
What is it called? Dr. Pikachu.
Detective Pikachu.
Oh my gosh, Detective Pikachu.
So here's the thing I will say is that while that movie, you're right, you can blame that.
How is it any different?
It doesn't look nearly as bad.
It's
as
because we
Sonic.
like Ryan Reynolds. That's why. Because Deadpool can take a terrible thing and hopefully turn it into a masterpiece because of his
he could probably take a dump on screen and watch it.
Because Van Wilder,
For,
yeah,
just
exactly.
for his commentary.
Yes, because he's funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the only reason why I want to see Dr. Master Pikachu, Senior Detective Esquire, is because of Ryan Reynolds. There's nothing.
I think
nothing redeeming
think,
about that.
Let's talk about where you're going here. I think with Detective Pikachu, from what I've seen from the trailers, they don't try and insert Pikachu into our world, and that
What are you talking about? He's
that's
in our
what
world.
they did with Sonic.
But is
Detective
he not walking
Pikachu?
around?
No, he exists in his whatever the Pokemon
Oh, the
world.
Pokemon. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So they didn't try and take this and shove it into a live action, and that's why this becomes so cliche and so almost unbearable to even watch the trailer.
It is.
I think it's funny that they want to change the character because they think that's what the internet's blowing up about, because they are.
Right.
But that's not why people are really like, I'm not going to watch this, because it looks terrible. That's why they're not going to.
Do you think when James
they can
Marsden
change the look of Sonic all they want?
Yeah, exactly.
They could take the sprite right out of the game and put it in the movie, and nobody's going to watch it because it looks terrible.
Do you think that Jim Carrey and James Marsden, when they sat down to watch the end product, they're like, "Oh, this was a terrible."
They had to throw a lot of money at those guys.
Oh, they must
right?
have. They must have.
They had to have thrown a lot.
Or Cyclops just didn't have a whole lot of opportunities.
I don't think he does a whole lot. He's in Westworld, which we have respect
Teddy.
for.
He's Teddy in
Yeah,
Westworld.
he does a good job in
oh
that.
Oh my God! Yes,
but that's
absolutely.
really the only thing he's done lately that I can
Right.
think of that was kind of bigger. So,
Yeah, but they should give that guy a good movie. If he's Teddy,
you kind
in
of got to
Westworld.
earn those things, right?
He earned it in Westworld. Westworld.
Fair enough.
You need to watch Westworld. Anyway, so yes, this is something to watch because I think that this is not over. It's going to be lampooned by everybody.
I think that we need somebody watching to go watch this movie and tell us how bad it is, because I'm not going.
Yeah, I'm not going either. I mean, I might watch it as a rental. I don't even know if I want to do that. I'm sorry.
I don't think
I can't. I don't think I'll be able to bring myself to it. That's just.
I'd probably rent it and turn it off.
Yeah, you'd rent it. You'd give them the money and turn it off.
I'll let you put it on your Plex server.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah. So I guess as of right now, it's don't go see that. Don't go that. Speaking of movies,
we're going trailer 2 thumbs down.
Yes, I wish I had 4 thumbs. Speaking of movies, everybody.
What's the biggest movie right
now?
now?
The biggest movie ever. Can we say that?
You could.
Based on box office for openings.
Based on sales.
Okay, Avengers Endgame opened last Friday. It was the biggest box office opening day for a movie.
1.2 billion.
Yeah, it's like it was
in a weekend.
absurd money. Absurd money.
Worldwide. Yeah.
And it was so great that apparently a small Philippines cable company decided that they were going to air the entire pirated version of the movie to their cable subscribers, which is great.
Good for them.
I guess. So the name of the cable company is called Orient Cable, and they only serve a small province of the city.
Tell me the name of the city.
The city is Dipolog. Did I say that right?
I think it's Dipolog.
Dipolog?
Dipolog.
Dipolog Zamboanga.
Zamboanga del Norte.
There you go. That's why Aaron's here, because of this actual, just this
those
thing.
things.
So
that's why I'm filling in today.
right, yeah. So you know, the local movie. I'm guessing it's really small, and I say that because there's like what they call a movie house, which is we should call a movie theater, right?
Yeah.
Called Teatro de
Dapitan.
Thank you.
Yes.
Is planning to sue them over it because I'm pretty sure that ate through all of their profits on that weekend.
Yeah, people were probably like, "Oh, this is on TV. Do I need to go pay the movie theater prices for the movie, the concessions, the high prices on everything?"
That had to be
inflated.
The longest screener. Like someone sat in a movie theater for 3 hours holding a cell phone up. It had to be a screener. It's not okay. So screeners. So people who don't know about like torrents and stealing movies, there's like typically like phases of a movie before it becomes, you know.
Yeah, you can't usually get the high quality version the first week. It's
right.
just not gonna happen, generally.
Basically, there's somebody who goes into a movie theater with a camcorder or a cell phone, and they call them screeners. They point the thing at the screen.
Worst audio.
Yeah, and it just plays, right? And because they're doing it all like covertly, and then they throw that onto the interwebs, and people steal that, and it's not enjoyable to watch. It ruins the movie.
It does,
hands down.
Absolutely.
Nobody should watch screeners.
You get none of the good parts of the
exactly.
movie.
Screeners should be like even
sound
for pirators.
sucks. The visual sucks.
Don't you think that even pirators should be like, you know what, screeners just aren't worth it, right? So
I think they believe that deep down. Yes.
Yeah, but they're still gonna download it. And then later on, when the actual DVD comes out, that's when people rip it off the DVD or the Blu-ray or whatever.
Or or like a early release for like reviewers or whatever.
In other countries, like the Philippines,
they just
where they could actually steal the source material and transcode it. Those sort of situations. But I digress. So you know, I had to ask you, for a company that made Disney, right? Can we say Disney? Because Disney's the
they are Disney.
Right?
Yeah,
right.
they're the
Disney for making like $1.2 billion. Do you think that they should give a pass to pirators because they made their money?
Should they? You're talking about a big question here.
Right.
When you talk about box office releases, it's not even necessarily. I feel like these days about the money itself.
What is it about?
There's so much into the release amount of the biggest ever. If you're gonna get the biggest release ever, you want to make it the most money possible.
Right.
You want to be unbeatable in that category. And so if money's coming away from
There's Wi-Fi with it. No, because the might
absolutely it does. But my point is also there's got to be some ego involved with the movie creators that
Sure.
are like, we want it to be as big as possible,
Right.
and you're taking money away from that too.
But it's
Box
$1
office
billion.
numbers.
I would feel like that common sense was, and by the way, I'm not advocating stealing anything. That's not what I'm getting at. But it's like, at what point did you say success?
He's not advocating it. He's just saying it's not that big of a deal.
No. Would you download a car? Right? No, I'm
Yes.
just saying yes. If it could get it over the internet.
You do have a 3D printer. Let's give it a
Yeah.
shot.
I wouldn't write that at all. But I just like, at what point did you make enough money? Can you be like, we were successful. This is the best ever, because it's not $1.2 billion.
yeah.
By the time that this goes to DVD,
Well, so
they're
that's
gonna be making.
maybe that's the question. Does Disney and Marvel actually pursue this? Because clearly this is a
Oh yeah, I'm sure. This is mostly in jest. I mean, yeah, it is. You're right. It is a
we
federal
do have
crime.
an expert letting us
We-
know
yeah,
that it
we
is
think-
a federal
yes.
crime. Thank you, Wi-Fi.
But however, from a moral standpoint,
Right. I mean,
I don't know. That's a gray area. I just said a moral standpoint, and it's obviously if morality is based on the
feel
law.
where
there's-
you're coming
yeah.
from on this one.
It's a lot of money. I'm just saying they made a lot of money, and obviously this Orient Cable,
ridiculous amount of
a
money.
stupid, absurd amount of money.
Yeah,
just-
I mean, it was a good movie.
It was an okay movie.
It was a good movie.
We don't agree.
we-
We have some
We don't
disagreements.
see eye to eye on this
Yes.
one.
So I don't know. I mean, Aaron had said that apparently the embargo on spoilers ends on Monday.
Yes.
And how did that get agreed upon?
I have no idea. I just read that somewhere. Maybe it might have even been wrong. But basically, they had an internet, like they had a thing where they were not allowed. They would shut down anything that had a spoiler.
Who? How? What?
I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know the details of this.
Okay.
But they did say that all spoiler, cover was off by Monday. So if you haven't seen it, you've got 4 days.
Yeah, you better get on that. Yeah, 3 days.
Yeah, exactly. So
So all right. So that was I digress. I'm sorry, but it's a ton of
gone
money,
too far.
and obviously the Orient Cable Company is probably going to get sued by the NPAA and Disney.
they're going to be out of business.
And yeah,
They're gonna be
there's
out of
going to be a new cable company. We don't know the name yet, but it's coming.
All right.
Impossible Whopper.
The Impossible Whopper. Burger King plans to sell an Impossible Whopper nationwide this year. For those who don't know, the Impossible Burger is a newer form of alternative meat.
Okay. Which is what I mean. I'm assuming we talked about it. It's vegetable.
Yeah, this one is.
Okay.
As far as I know.
All right.
Because there are some that, I mean, obviously the future is like
Less meat.
less meat. Yeah.
Cows.
But this one
Nothing.
is supposed to be vegetable.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be really good. I told you earlier, my wife and I went no red meat, and so I actually just a week ago was looking into this stuff, and the Impossible Burger came up so frequently as a crazy alternative that people were like blown away by. Like people who hadn't eaten meat in years were scared when they had the Impossible Burger because they thought they went to an establishment and got a real burger. They thought they were given a real burger. Because it reminded them so much of what they remembered of beef. Now, my only thought is, these are people who don't eat meat on a regular basis.
Yeah, how would they know what
I
meat?
wonder.
I haven't had meat in a year. Well, then how do you know what meat tastes like? Well, I think it tastes just like this.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, I've heard the same thing from a lot of other alternatives. Mm-hmm. However, this one's really gaining a lot of traction.
Especially with Burger King, apparently.
Especially with Burger King. So they did a trial run of this burger in St. Louis earlier this month. And just based on the earnings, the CEO is calling for them to start serving it in a few select cities this summer and see if reaction still stays strong, and then they'll expand nationwide. We talked about select cities probably being just
Up and down the coast.
the West Coast, Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, San Jose,
Los
LA.
Angeles,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you're probably going to hit up a lot of vegetarians, vegans in that area.
Yes. Got to put it to real stress test
I
levels.
swear at my job, people tell me that they move here because they want to become a vegan. That's what I feel like they say to me on a regular basis.
I came to this place just
it
because
just
of
felt
the
like that's what
veganism.
I was supposed to do, was move to Portland and be a vegan.
Oh
So
my God.
you know, that's just that being what it is. It would probably sell well here, at least for people wanting to give it a try. Again, people can't seem to tell the difference.
I have to try this. I mean,
Between
I'm
the
assuming you do it, right? You eat it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we stopped eating red meat. I might go tonight because the wife and I are supposed to go get dinner.
Okay.
And it says that they're available at Red Robin. I live a stone's throw away from a Red Robin. I think I might just hit her up and say, hey, we should go try it tonight.
Do this. Do me a favor. Tonight, if you go and you eat the Impossible thing,
Yes.
take a picture. I'll put it on
Perfect.
all the social medias.
Perfect.
And then you have to say
I'll
either
do-
thumbs up or thumbs down.
I'll do
okay?
you one better. I will video that stuff.
You will video.
And
Okay.
I will send it to you.
And no one will watch it but me. But hey, I'll eat a regular
You can
burger.
put it all over your social medias and you know,
Just
talk
put it-
about it on your YouTube channel, whatever
Hey,
you want to
everybody,
do.
look at this thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But more than 5,000 restaurants, including the Red Robin that I talked about, Hard Rock Cafe, a bunch of places are jumping on this.
White Castle has it too.
Wi-Fi says, I know a guy that used to work there. They did not have the Impossible Burger when I was still there.
He worked at it.
Otherwise, I probably would have tried it at the time.
I'm not against trying it. I think I'm all for less meat.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop eating meat unless there's an alternative.
No,
that
and
tastes good.
here's the thing. I haven't gone vegetarian. The wife and I just stopped eating red meat.
So you're eating fish and chicken.
Yeah, a lot of fish and chicken.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Which
that's
is probably mostly chicken and stuff anyway.
mostly chicken. Actually, I eat a lot of fish these days. But yeah, I mean, this was a good alternative, and it just seemed to make sense. So I'm gonna give it a try for sure.
Okay.
The market for this for alternative meat is estimated to be worth $4.63 billion in 2018. That's a lot for what I consider.
That's
for what I
Qualcomm and
consider to
Apple
be.
style numbers right there, my friend.
They could pay Qualcomm back for Apple with the money they're
With the
bringing
money
in
they
in
made on
revenues.
that, you're absolutely right. Yes.
That's exactly. They could just transfer that money. No, but that's a lot considering when I think of meat alternatives, I think of very fringe, novelty, like not. But
like garden burgers that taste
people
like
are
nuts
a lot
and
more
berries
right,
and not meat.
It used to be Garden Burger, it used to be Boca, and they're cardboardy and garbage. But supposedly this is better.
God, I should go to Red Robin tonight.
We also talked about 4.63 billion's probably inflated by the cost.
Right, because that stuff is super overpriced. Right?
Yeah. Right now it really is, just because you know they're basically it's an early market for some of this stuff. But hopefully launching it to some of these, you know, Red Robin and Burger King would be probably a huge step to lowering some of those prices of that stuff, just because it's more common that people are eating it and have access to
There are
it.
Burger Kings everywhere, right?
Yeah.
White Castles aren't everywhere. Burger Kings are everywhere. If they were to roll this out nationwide, I mean, our small mountain hometown would have. It wouldn't sell so well there, I don't think.
God, I'd like to see
eating
that.
Any of them non-meat burgers.
You walk in there and order an Impossible Burger, they pull this like box out of the freezer with it just has like just ice is covered. It's been in there for months since they rolled out the Impossible Burger 2 years prior. They're like, we've never opened this.
Some
before.
old man comes out. You were the first.
That's
You will
exactly
also
how
be
it
the
happened.
last.
We come from Beefland, so I mean that's.
Yeah.
But I think this is a really cool move, and I'm definitely going to try it sometime soon, and I will let you know.
Yes, do. If you eat it tonight, I want photos. At a minimum, tell me if it tastes like meat or not. Like, actually, take it out of whatever it's in and just, like, eat
Show it.
No, just, I don't want to care
Like,
about
just take a
I-
bite
yeah,
so that
well,
you don't
just-
get all the bun flavor.
Yeah, because, I mean, I
feel ya.
feel like part of eating a burger is, like, the condiments and stuff that's on it, right?
Absolutely.
Take the meat out and be like, yes, this is the thing that tastes like meat.
I'll do it.
You do that. Okay. Now we're going to go to something completely unrelated to meat, but equally cool.
Yeah.
In a different way. So, I saw today a very interesting article about this. There's a company, a collective. I can't call it a company. MTA Fiber Holdings is a cooperative in Alaska.
Do we know what MTA stands for?
I wrote it down and then I didn't put it on the thing. I'm sorry.
technical.
I don't remember. But
I don't
anyway, a cooperative is actually like it's owned by the people, right?
Yeah.
So MTA Fiber Holdings is planning on, which is basically an ISP in Alaska, is planning on a 1 terabit a second fiber connection from Alaska through Canada down into the United States because Alaskan internet is terrible. And I was trying to think of how I could quantify how much 1 terabit is a second.
Yeah.
And it's such a high quantity. So like let's say for example, this is gonna be totally nerd talk. People are just gonna go glaze over this.
I'm
Like,
going to as well.
A 10 megabit connection is 1 megabyte a second, give or
Right.
take, right? So 100 megabit, it's just take
Exponential.
right. So a 1 terabit version would probably be somewhere like, I don't know, 100 gigabytes a second, maybe something like that.
And this is 100 terabit.
No, this is 1 terabit. This is a single terabit. No, it's 100 terabit. I wrote 1 terabit on there, but it's 100 terabit. I didn't even write it right.
100 terabit is
Yeah, I mean it's unfathomable.
horrifyingly fast.
It's horrifying that I got the title wrong. That's what's horrifying, Aaron.
Yeah, you're welcome that I fixed this for you, so these people know what's actually going on in Alaska.
1 terabit. It's still 1 terabit. Is
They
a lot.
count
though.
on you for their techniques.
Yes.
And you have let them down.
Yes, but people in Canada, it's like one of the.
So now hold on one second.
Sure.
We didn't talk about this before, but if this is a cooperative,
Right.
is there tax dollars involved in this? Did they say anything about that?
People are part owners in it, so people pay
So
into it.
no tax
It's
dollars.
like a municipality. There's a few other places I've seen in the United States.
Because if I were someone in Alaska, I'd be totally ready to throw my tax dollars at it.
Sure.
Right?
Alaska's one of those
Although
interesting.
Alaskans are odd.
Well,
Some of them like to be disconnected.
Well, that's a fair point. A lot of people who live in Alaska, they're
they
there
might
because
not
they
actually
want to
be
be
into
there.
this. Yeah,
But Alaska as a state is horribly underserved when it comes to internet access, right?
they're horribly underserved in a lot of ways just because they're disconnected.
Sure, right.
It's just
Yeah.
part of living there.
It's like kind of like we talked about like Hawaii, although I think Hawaii's probably got better access.
Right.
Because-
Well, just like you said, a little bit. It's habitable in all the areas, or at least populated.
And it's in a
most
place
of
that
the
you could
areas.
bounce fiber lines to Asia and that kind of stuff too, which Alaska, what do you get?
They're kind of a hub too, right?
Right, exactly.
A little bit more than Alaska.
So construction for this has already started. It continues to 2019. It completes in 2020. And then, I mean, this is actually intended to ship data from the U.S. to Alaska and vice versa. And it's, currently Alaskans use a combination of like submarine cables, satellites, or wireless to get internet. And imagine now, if you're served in this area, you got some fast internet.
Yeah, imagine gaming on that crappy Alaskan internet for years, and then when you get that sweet ping of
They probably don't
100
game on it. That's the
100
thing.
terabit.
Yeah, they're probably like, oh, look at me, I can.
If you
my
do,
ping times are
if
0.
you do, it's definitely not FPS games.
Right, yeah, you're doing RTS games.
Yeah,
not even
you're-
RTS games.
Now
I don't know-
that's all about.
You're playing Risk, where it's turn-based games.
You're playing
Yeah.
Words with Friends.
Oh gosh. So yeah, I mean, I thought that was
I
fascinating.
think that's 100 terabit is you can't even really quantify
That's
that. But that's good for them. That may actually be a huge thing for Alaska to be more connected and really kind of boom maybe.
sure. Yeah, because if you have that, I mean, you can spark a bunch of business there that doesn't
Well, and
exist.
who knows how many kids grow up there and just don't have access to some of that stuff,
Right.
and can now have access to kind of the
To
future.
all of the
Yeah.
YouTube streamers like Two Guys Tech.
Now they can all be.
Subscribe. Subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, no, you're gonna have some new watchers, that's for sure.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that was fascinating, and I want to talk about it.
Next.
Now we got some serious.
All right.
Hit me with the serious talker.
So for those who don't know who this is in the corner here, over here, this gentleman is a fine gentleman named Alex Jones.
He's a fine gentleman. I love that.
He's a purveyor of something called InfoWars. He's been around for really a long time.
Yes.
and
In the
he's-
shadows.
Yeah, he's been a big conspiracy theory guy. He was on radio. He kind of creates his own content.
Yes.
Um,
He made his own television station and was using the interwebs to disseminate his.
Yeah, and I mean,
horrible
he's always
vile.
been this kooky guy, but in the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years, he's just really hit a kind of a hateful level where he's very alt-right.
Mm-hmm.
He speaks out of government conspiracies of Democrats and liberal-leaning people. He claimed that the government was releasing chemicals that was turning the frogs gay.
Yes, the gay frogs.
And it was essentially a gay chemical that they were releasing to make people gay or whatever.
So they were trying to make us gay?
I mean, I think that was the whole point of.
But
the
it only
gay
worked on
frogs
frogs.
It only worked on the frogs.
Well,
I don't know.
That was a mistake on the
But
chemicals.
He
there.
exists in a fringe world in the internet that kind of speaks to people who latch onto those conspiracy theories and things like that. He and other far right personalities have been banned from Facebook and Instagram. By the way, they've been banned from a ton of other places too.
Right.
Alex Jones specifically has been banned from YouTube. I mean, he's been banned from.
But this is not just banning them from being on there.
Correct.
This is what? This is different.
This isn't just their self-created content is not allowed. They will remove any contact shared from InfoWars, and people who repeatedly post that stuff will also be banned. They will be banning any impersonations, events or groups, things like that. You really can't even utter the names practically of some of these people. I'll name a few of the other ones. People have heard of Louis Farrakhan. I don't know who Laura Loomer is. Paul Nalon, Paul Joseph Watson. We talked about Milo Yiannopoulos.
Yiannopoulos, right.
He's kind of a weird one too. I mean, there's just a weird group of these far right
horrible people.
Yeah, and they just are. It's a lot of what comes out of their mouths is just hate speech.
It is. It truly is.
We talked about the Alex Jones was a big purveyor of the Sandy Hook when that massacre shooting at that kids' school happened. He said it was a false flag. It was made up, and the people that were the family members were crisis actors. I mean, he says this every time there's a mass shooting.
Horrible.
Yeah. So it's just something that we don't want on our social media anyway.
Yeah, we shouldn't. Yeah, this stuff should be stopped, and I'm glad to see that they're doing it. By the way, if you're on Facebook, you might not want to say, like now they're. Well, to throw it an alternative here, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Because you and I clearly, and I'm asking you to play devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Because you and I both agree that this, no question, is a good move, right?
Yes.
Not just, hey, take these people off the platform, but also stymie the speech of people who are still trying to promote in their stead.
Right.
So is that a slippery slope on its own right to prevent people from talking about those things?
I believe that it can be, but I think when you talk about the content and the way that these people purvey it, and I think that's what they're really saying here. You know, we could argue all day that Fox News is a propaganda arm of Republican / the right leaning, and that's been argued before.
Sure.
But that's not something they're going to ban because it's how it's presented. It is not in a hateful way. And I think that when you talk about the social media aspect, you have to look at younger people and more easily influenced minds when they see some of this stuff. I think that's what you're seeing right now is people that are easily swayed, and then they become almost these brainwashed, militant.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And I think if you can lessen some of that, maybe they'll see a little bit of multiple sides, or at least just see sides that are less, militant and just ridiculous.
Right.
And kind of lessen that divide between the people of this country and this world. And I think that's a good move.
That would be nice, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that you're right. I think that essentially Facebook, whether you like it or not, is a platform that has a far-reaching, an ability to form people's opinions for you.
Right.
Right. You see all the dumb stuff that gets forwarded around, and that's like, oh well, that's innocuous. It's not a big deal. Yeah, angels did save this person, or whatever.
Right. And that's perfectly fine.
Right. But that also I think that stuff is slippery because there are people who can't differentiate between what is actually real and what's not, because a lot of the stuff. I mean, technology has gotten to the point where we can make things untrue look very true very quickly and easily. So.
And I think you're right. That's the slippery slope. But we did talk a little bit before about, being the way that you and I have similar kind of stances on our political leanings. But if there was a group that was, say, an atheist group that condoned bombing churches or something like that, condoned violence towards or really spewed hate towards Christians.
Sure.
I think we would agree that if those things got out of hand, they should shut that down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think that's just there's not really room for that sort of hate.
There shouldn't be.
Not in such a widely used platform.
Right.
You know, you and I talked about this, and I was like, you know what? If people want to search that stuff out and find it on the internet, I think that's where they deserve a platform.
Yes.
People deserve to run a website that's their website for that.
Yeah, they have the freedom to do that.
Facebook has a right to shut that down too if they feel that that's in there.
Send them to the 4chans.
That's what that's for.
That's what that's for.
4chan is for that.
I think that's it for the show.
All right.
So, Aaron, I want to say that I appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
And
it's great being here.
I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it too. As always, we gotta do our thing. So, Aaron is wearing
Sporting
one of the new shirt designs, and it's got a logo on the back too. I am wearing one as well. I'm wearing Nike. Look at that. See that?
Logo.
How could you not want that on your body?
It's pretty sweet.
Aaron's wearing.
Probably gonna take this one home with me. It's a little small.
Yeah, it's a little.
John size. This is John's.
It was for John, but now it's for Aaron because that's
tight.
what happens when John doesn't show up. He doesn't get his shirt.
I'm gonna belly shirt this to the gym when it shrinks and when I wash it.
Can I have a picture of that?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Farm Simulator. You know, I want you to know, Y5, that I'm working on a plan for Farm Simulator, and I think you're going to be impressed. And I can't reveal too much now.
Well, now I can't wait.
Well, yeah, I might have to have you get in on it.
Okay.
You know, we might have to do it like a Two Guys Tech Plus.
Yes.
You know, 3 people and do the Farm Simulator thing. So it's coming.
All right.
So, you know, another thing, we are primarily a YouTube channel. If you're watching this on any other platform, please consider shooting over to YouTube at that link and subscribing because it really helps us out and keeps us making videos. You know, we releasing new stuff all the time. And as always,
and I show up once in a while.
He does.
I show up once in a while.
He's our in the pocket cameraman.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you know,
fill-in guy.
We need help, and sometimes you just can't do stuff with 2 guys. So
that's right.
2.5
2 guys tech and another fill-in guy, another helper.
Hey, Nirvana, and they always had Pat Smear. He was off to the side. No one saw him, but he was part of the band. Don't feel too bad. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. We will see you again next week. I hope you enjoyed it. See you later.